Welcome to Team Anywhere. This short episode entitled Stop, Look, and Listen, Innovation is Coming is a teaser for the full podcast we'll be posting on September 13. My co-host, Ginny Bianco Mathis, and one of our favorite expert guests, Rachel Casanova, have been brainstorming and investigating post-COVID work environment. Ginny, let me pass this on to you.
Yeah, thanks, Mitch. We have been talking because of so many exciting things that have come out. And Rachel and I thought, wow, this is going to be a great podcast that we should do and put some time into, see what develops over the summer. So we have been reading the myriad progression of headlines on going back to work. And there seems to be two conflicting conversations going on between leaders and employees. In the extreme, we have some leaders saying they want employees back in their seats come September. And then on the other side, we have employees questioning the very nature of work and wanting leaders and organizations to meet their needs. But what needs? So the solutions that have been bantied about, hybrid, virtual, back to the way we were, seem to solve different variables for different audiences that are at odds. So like most transformation, it seems we might need to listen and observe to see what emerges from this chaos. So Rachel, let me ask you, what should we be looking for?
Thank you, Ginny. What a great, exciting moment. And I just want to use some of the words you and I have used in our conversations. But what looks like chaos is actually chaos. And Ginny just sort of gave you some of that definition, and the clickbait that's out there. If you don't even read the article, you're missing the details, and there's so much nuance out there. So we are really trying to say, hold on a second, let the chaos turn into innovation, which it will. And what we need to look for and watch for is how are businesses first transforming? Secondarily, how are they thinking about their talent strategy to support business success? And that's where we get into this whole conversation about what does work mean and where do you do it? But only then can we really think about how we create places for people to come together, or the ecosystem of how we come together. And so that's what we want to enable, sort of give it its moment for this chaos to turn into great ideas. So what should we be watching for? Well, the first one that really got us talking is about influence and where the employee leadership and the institution sort of play out. And I was moved by the Naomi Osaka situation at the French Open, which was such an analogy to me about what the employee wants and needs and is willing to stand up for, and what the institution demanded. We've seen this also play out in Methodist Hospital in Texas, where the institution said we mandate vaccines. On the other hand, employees refused, and the institution let go 150 employees. We saw this happen with the CEO of the Washington Post. We've seen it happen with Apple. These are the stories we need to embrace and just let them play out. So we have to watch, where does the influence happen? Who is more emboldened and who sort of owns that future state? The second thing is that we are seeing much more of a conversation and accountability that is an expectation employees have of their employers. The contract, for what it means, is about my well-being, is about my work-life balance, that I have a voice. I want to be seen for the needs I have. And how far will that accountability shift to our employers? So will they care about your childcare solutions? Will they care about the safety you feel on our streets? And what will they do to be part of the solution? Or will it look more like that's my prerogative and that's what I do when I accept a job? And the third thing, which is another one, is kind of a pet peeve of mine, is we are so short of vocabulary on what a hybrid solution looks like. We continue to hear about days of the week as if we are somewhat robotic and that on Mondays we do this and on Tuesdays we do that. But where is the vocabulary for something more nuanced? I'm working with a client right now who their people often come in the morning and do their business with their clients in the afternoon. That conversation is very different from how many days of the week. We know that Revolut, as an example in the UK, said 2 months a year, work from anywhere. Very different from the currency of how many days. And then we have a client who has a 90-day cycle, and 45 days of that cycle look very different from the other 45 days. So where's that conversation? And until we try some of these, and we're starting to try them, that's what we have to watch, observe, listen for. And when we find the business strategies that result, we will begin to see the answers to how a hybrid or where I work or all those questions get answered. Mitch, back to you.
Wow. Gosh, so many really good insights. And what I love about bringing you on, Rachel, is you always have a really interesting perspective on how to look at what's going on in this, I guess, this chaotic world. So I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to our episode on September 13th. But until then, to our listeners, have a great summer, and we'll see you back on Team Anywhere next week. And we'll see you, Rachel, back on Team Anywhere on September 13th. Bye-bye.